Hi, everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the Aftermath. This is the show that we do when the dust has settled from the post-match reaction to Newcastle United's latest game, which happened to be a 2-0 victory at St James's Park against a really lacklustre Spurs to get through to the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Eddie Howe is absolutely owning this competition at the moment. His record is ridiculous, as Mark said in a post-match just last night. But we're going to get stuck into the aftermath and talk about the main talking points of the game. Now we've kind of calmed down a little bit, settled a little bit, consumed some content, and had a chance to think about it. And I think the big thing for me, and the big thing that's showing for Newcastle United, this is 2 games on the spin here. Fulham at the weekend just gone, and the Carabao Cup game against Spurs last night. It's squad depth. This is something Newcastle United never had before. Now, we've always talked about improving the starting 11, but we had to start improving the squad. And a lot of the players that we used to have coming off the bench weren't quite cutting the mustard. All due respect, Sean Longstaff, he was a good servant for the club, a top lad as well. He's doing great things at Leeds. He needed that move on to kickstart his career again and be a player that can play every single week, because Sean needs those games. He was never going to get in ahead of Sandro Tonali, of Bruno Guimaraes, of even Joe Linton, that nobody at all. So he has to have those games. And Sean's doing a great job at Leeds, and the Leeds fans love him for it. But we didn't have those players that could come on and change a game. We didn't have a Willisula at the level that he's at now. We didn't have an Anthony Elanga to come on and do it. And what Eddie Howe's been able to do now is been able to rotate the squad. He made loads of changes. Was it 8 changes or something he made, or something mad like that tonight? The players that came in didn't just do a job. They played really well. Emil Kraft was excellent at right back. He's come out of the deep freezer. He's like Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. He's got icicles off his nose, and he still played really well defensively. He was sound. He got forward as well and was part of an attacking threat. Fabian Schär, looking cool as a motherfucker with them long sleeves on, just steps in like he's never been away. Malik Chow is brilliant. Malik Chow can play. Malik Chow can play with me at centre half and make me look good. He's fucking class. The performance that you saw from Malik Chow last night was unbelievable. Strength, pace, playing the ball out. The press he puts on for the second goal is absolutely incredible. He's a great footballer. But all of these players stepping up and showing what they can do. But I think one thing to me shone out massively last night over everybody else. And he was sniffling, he was coughing, he was still snotty after the game and his man of the match performance. But Sandro Tonali is just, there's no other way for me to articulate it. And listen, if you're going to give me any abuse in the comments, bashing the Lord's book like you have done before, put your fingers in your ears, or go out and say a prayer, or I don't know, go play the guitar somewhere with your sandals on, right? But Sandro Tonali is just fucking incredible as a footballer. There's no other way for me to say that whatsoever. This lad is absolutely phenomenal. There's not an ounce of his game that I think is bad. Defensively, he sniffs out danger. He deals with it. He sorts it out. Offensively, last night when Bruno wasn't there, he took up the mantle of that as well. He was creating things. He was even catching his own passes at one point. He puts the corner in to set up the first goal. He was absolutely magnanimous. He was bossing that game. When you look at Spurs, they have nobody in midfield at all. I mean, Paulina's playing at centre-half, which probably takes a bit of the back of their midfield, but it didn't matter who they had in there. Sandro Tonali was head and shoulders above any single player on that pitch last night. This kid is the real fucking deal. He is our best footballer, and we have to tie him down on a long-term contract. I know he signed that extra contract when he was going through his obviously suspension and stuff like that, but we need to make sure that other teams don't start sniffing around this kid, because he's absolutely incredible. I think he could play in any team in the world and still look like a really good footballer. We are so blessed to have a player of that quality in this team, and our success will definitely depend on how good he is and what form he's in, and he's absolutely fucking brilliant at the moment, and that stood out to me by a country mile as well. Great to see big Nick Bottomada get another goal as well. Very easy. The keeper was really poor, I must say, and I said it in the post-match, Spurs were poor tonight. Some of their signings, look at Kola Mardy come off the bench. I thought that was an inspired signing for Spurs, but that's not really bad. He's not done anything at all. It's clear that old Frankie doesn't like Solanke either, by the looks of it. I felt sorry for those 3,000 Spurs fans that they weren't playing my team. I'd probably be behind the mic here, really sympathising with them. It's a hell of a support by Spurs to come up there midweek with no train back and watch your team just give a nothing performance, really. I didn't feel at any particular time in that game Newcastle were really under threat by Spurs. Even when they broke out a couple of chances, there was nobody in that team. Long gone the days of Harry Kane, Son, even Maddison at full tilt. They didn't have those players to cause that threat, to cause that danger, to do something out of nothing and just flip that game on its head. They worked hard, but they didn't really have an end product, Spurs, and I never felt that they were ever a threat to us. And that's massive for Newcastle because Spurs have been really good in the Premier League. They're sitting fifth in the table for a reason. I know the table's still early days and 2 or 3 games can flip it on its head, but Spurs under Thomas Frank have looked a lot better, certainly better than they did last season under Ange. This was a big test for Newcastle, and they came through it with flying colours and not even with their big players as well. Gordon didn't play. Bruno didn't play. Trippier didn't play. Botman didn't play. You look at that, Murphy didn't play, and you think, wow, like we've still done that. We've still done that performance, put that performance in with what you would call the kind of the reserve players, so to speak, or the squad players, the impact players, not the starting players. And we had such a confident performance against what you would deem as a rival. That can only be good things for Newcastle. This is the time of year when Eddie Howe's teams really kick into gear and really start finding form. And boy, what a great time to do it as well in the lead up to the Christmas and the massive derby as well against Sunderland, who are doing brilliant this season, but they've got a lot of players got African Cup of Nations that could bite them. But this is great for Newcastle to pick up form right now because we've been in games since the season started, but haven't been shit. We've been probably ineffective. I think we've been a little bit toothless up front until Big Nick came in and changed the dynamic there. The players are finally starting to pick up and understand how this lad plays, and we're starting to see the benefits of it. The chance for Harvey Barnes would have been one of the best build-up goals that you'll see this season, the way Voldemort made that little Cruyff turn flick around the corner. Barnes read it, and Barnes was there. It just missed the finish, which is normally, characteristic of Harvey Barnes. But we'll get there. We'll get sharp with that. The players are getting better. Those chances are becoming a lot more frequent now than they were before. And that's brilliant for Newcastle because we create more chances like that. We will get more goals. There was a little bit of a drop-off, I think, when we went 1-0 up again. Not as bad as it's been in previous games. We did step it back up again and then get the second goal. But if Barnes' chances go in, the first one, and then he hits the bar with an excellent shot, I must say, we're 2-0 up at half-time. We could have smashed them, slapped them 4-5-0. And I don't think any Spurs fan would have argued that was a fair result because Newcastle were the only team in that game that looked like they were up for winning that game, in my opinion. Maybe Frank wants to concentrate more on the Premier League than the Cups. I doubt that because that's a chance from a win silverware and getting to Europe as well. So I don't think he wanted to do that. I just think he come up to Newcastle and he probably wasn't expecting that level of performance from that team that came out. And massive credit to every single player that went in there. In particular, a couple of players I'm going to pick out. The first one, Joe Willock. I cringed in my seat when Joe Willock went into that starting lineup because I keep saying he's been regressing quicker than my hairline. But I tell you what, Joe Willock, fair play to him last night. That was the Joe Willock of old that we saw. That was the Joe Willock who was calm with the ball, focused with his running, made smart decisions. The chance for Ramsdale, who I'll get onto in a second, when he pings that ball over and the way Willock takes it down, brings it down, shields off the player, twists backside and makes a chance for the team. The Willock of the last 6, 7 months, 12 months, 18 months, he misses that chance. He either miscontrols it from the bounce and it goes out, or he just runs into the corner flag and puts his hands up and all that. We saw less of that from Willock last night. Yeah, he should have scored the header. A couple of chances, his passing was wayward, but I think to come in out of the cold from Joe Willock and put in a performance like that is massively, massively positive for the squad because Joe Willock can play in the midfield. He can play out left as well. He can be a goal threat. He can bring you pace. He can bring you running with the ball with strength. He needs to get fit and stay fit. And I think if Joe Willock can do that, maybe he does have something else to add to this squad. I've wrote Joe Willock off a long time ago. I still think, to be honest with you, Joe Willock will be one of the next ones to be sold. And if he does have a good run in the season, maybe we'll get a better fee from him in the transfer market. But what he showed last night was a positive sign of a player that could really come in and do a job when he needs to. He just needs to continue that on. I thought Jacob Ramsey was absolutely brilliant. Loads of running, energy, lovely link-up play with Harvey Barnes again, who looked hungry for it last night. Could have got 2 goals on another night, Harvey Barnes. He looks hungry. He looks leaner, Harvey Barnes. He looks up for it. Pace, running behind, taking chances. Voldemort will bring him into the game so much more because Barnes makes that run. He's so dangerous at making that run. Nick Voldemort could probably create 7, 8 goals for Harvey Barnes alone if Barnes is having a consistent run in the team. So it's great to see that link-up play there as well. That was brilliant to see. Jacob Ramsey, like I said, linked up so well with him, running, energy, putting in tackles as well. Not something I associate with Jacob Ramsey. That was a good sign. You can see he's still trying to get back to full fitness, but I thought he was excellent again last night. And a massive shout out to Aaron Ramsdale. This is only Aaron Ramsdale's second appearance for Newcastle United. And I tell you what, wow, he looked so calm and assured as a goalkeeper, just confident. I never felt that Spurs were ever going to beat him because he didn't believe they could beat him. I think that one he comes, runs 30 yards out and chests the ball down. Everyone was having little hearts in their mouths there, but he was so calm and cool with it. Never phased, never sweated. Last time Nick Pope did that, he guillotined somebody, got a red card and missed the cup final. So to see Aaron Ramsdale be so calm with the ball, his distribution is absolutely brilliant. His kicking is magnificent. It's always controlled. That chance he set up for Willock was absolutely sensational. Spot that, but to make the pass, the right kind of weight to get there was a really, really exciting sign. And the big thing as well, I was at the Benfica game and I watched the warm-up, the shooting practice warm-up. And by the way, Jacob Ramsey's shooting was clinical as fuck, so he will get goals from Newcastle. But I saw Aaron Ramsdale save Gordon shot time after time, Voldemort shot time after time, Bruno shot time after time. Some brilliant shots, flicking them onto post and stuff. And I was looking at him going, wow, look at the reflexes of this guy. This kid's a good goalkeeper. He's going to get his chance soon for this club, and I think he'll take it when he gets it. And I thought a couple of saves that he made, the one from Sarr in particular was an excellent save, great shot stop, and Mark waxed lyrically about him on the post-match being the resident goalkeeper. But again, that's a great sign. All of these worries and concerns about Aaron Ramsdale, the concentration, the bit daft, the bit zany, the stuff, will he fuck up? He made that shot, he jumped straight back up again, he got himself big in front. And if he can be like that as a keeper, it's going to give us a total different dynamic. Now, Nick Pope is playing really, really well, but the last couple of seasons, Nick Pope has picked up injuries and the football is coming thick and fast. So even just to have the confidence to rotate the keeper and put Ramsdale in and know he can do a job is massive for Eddie Howe and massive for the team as well. I thought the defence looked calm with Ramsdale there. Him and Byrne had a lovely interaction as well there. Byrne was good at left back and all. We weren't missing. Lewis Hall wasn't one of them games where you thought you were missing Lewis Hall. Brian Johnson's a really tricky player and he dealt with him superbly well to the point where I think the Spurs fans were cheering when it took him off because he had such a shit game, mainly because Byrne completely nullified him. So for me, that was really exciting to see, and it just shows you the squad depth that Newcastle now have at their disposal, and that's going to be key for us getting through this stage. It's game after game after game, 3 games a week. Kieran Trippier's body can't do that. Burns' body probably struggles to do that. We need Tino and Hall back for that rotation as well. But it's great to know that the depth we have at centre-half is incredible. I still hear some people talk about Jamal Lascelles. I think he was on the bench, wasn't he, last night? There's no way Jamal Lascelles gets back in this team with the depth that we have at that centre-half with Malik Chow, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, who can all play there. There's no chance that Lascelles gets back in there because you can rotate amongst those players. Schär was magnificent, as I said there earlier on. He was brilliant. I just felt every single one of those players last night, there was just an air of confidence about them, an air of self-belief that I said has been missing in weeks gone by. It was there last night, and winning games does that to you. Run of winning games does that to you. All of those players looked like they believed that we were going to win that game and Spurs were never going to win that game. And I think that showed, and Spurs' self-doubt started to creep in. They weren't confident. They were rushing passes. They were making silly decisions. I'll get into this as well for the first goal, by the way. Fuck, man, I can't believe I nearly forgot to talk about this. I saw a massive load of noise about this. Thomas Frank come after the game and said the referee made a mistake. And Jamie Redknapp, the power of YouTube, Mark will pull this up. Jamie Redknapp, who was dressed like he's either taking his fucking bins out or he's waiting for his takeaway on Christmas Eve in his pajamas in the studio, spent 10 minutes talking about this fucking nonsense, right? Which I'm going to get right into now. Anyone who's played boys club football, I played it, I'm sure you lot have played it, or girls football as it is right now, fucking hell, if you're going to bend down and tie your shoelace, you better hurry up and get back into position. Jed Spencer's a professional footballer and he's taken an age to tie his shoelace and he's miles out the box, right? If you're going to tie your shoelace, go do it in a box next to the guy you're marking. You don't need to stand all the way out there tying your shoelace. He was taking that long. The crowd was getting restless. I'd have been screaming at him if I'd been a Spurs player. I'd been, get your fucking ass back in. Sort your lace out in a minute. We'll deal with a set piece, man. And he was taking fucking ages, and the referee got sick of it in the end and told Tonali, hurry up and take the corner. Tonali whips in the ball. Who scores? Fabian Schär, which is Jed Spencer's man. They all run the referee moaning like fuck about it. I'm sorry, guys. boys club football, as I've just said there, you learn that shit when you're 8 years old. Hurry the fuck up and get back into position, Spence. This is not a charity, my friend. This is a competitive game of football. If that had been Newcastle United player that did that, the Spurs players would be saying exactly the same. Spurs fans would be saying exactly the same. Utter fucking bullshit. And the fact that Redknapp spent 10 minutes on Sky talking about why that goal shouldn't have been allowed shows he's either got his Spurs blinkers on or he's just padding to fill time. I'd have been talking about how stupid Jed Spence was not to get back in position for 10 minutes. By all means, do that, Jamie Redknapp. But don't talk about how Spurs have been hard done by. How the fuck? This is professional football, for God's sake. Get back into the box. Get your man, Mark Sunshine. It's supposed to be an England international. And Tiny Hugh Nations. Get Velcro strips in your cock for the next game. Get back in the box and do your fucking job. It was a fair corner and a fair goal. The referee did nothing wrong, in my opinion. Spence has to take all the blame for that. And if I was Thomas Frank, I'd go through him and say to him, you don't do that shit again to me. You cost me a goal. But it's absolute bollocks. So these players just getting excuses for not doing their jobs. It's bullshit. Get back in and mark your man. But even without that, I don't think Spurs were ever in this game. I really, really don't. They're lacking a cutting edge up front. You know, they've done really well this season. They've been brilliant away from home. They've got results. Kudos has been excellent for them as well. But they really are lacking something up front. I still don't see it with Richarlison. I genuinely don't see it. I didn't see it when he was at Everton. I haven't seen it since he's been at Spurs. He runs around a lot and he has maybe one good game in about, 11 or 10 games or something like that. One good game where he does a couple of nice things and scores a couple of good goals. But invariably, I just don't think he's that good of a footballer. I think there's much better players out there that could be playing for Tottenham Hotspur than Richarlison, and they just haven't signed them. Christ, we've got one of them. You ain't having him, by the way. Big Nick Voldemorda. You know, Harvey Barnes could probably do a better job for Spurs. Anthony Gordon could. Jacob Murphy could. I think Richarlison's a really poor footballer. He's very, very lucky, in my opinion, to have got the £50 million move to Spurs that he got and to play for Brazil and all, because I don't think he offers a great deal of the pitch. So he's poor. Solanke's obviously out of favour. He's intermittent, but he can score goals if you give him the service. Kolo Wamani just looks dreadful. Really, really poor. He's the kind of guy who, it's almost like he's done a kind of a class exchange, you know, where somebody else has gone to France and he's gone to England. He just went, don't really like it here. God be honest, I want to go back to France. That's kind of how he's playing. You see some players who go on like Asensio when he went to Villa, and he was excellent. He was up for it. He improved the quality of the Villa team exponentially when he played, as did Marcus Rashford. This guy can't be fucking bothered. He didn't want to be there, you know? So that's not a good move for Spurs. And I think the longer they go through the season without somebody potent up front who can put it in the onion bag for them, they're going to have problems, certainly when it comes to the crux, when they're playing the big teams, their rivals, you know, Newcastle United, Aston Villa, you know, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, all those teams. They're going to struggle playing those teams if they haven't got somebody who can put it in the onion bag. And at the minute, they don't seem to have that. So they deserve to lose this game, and Newcastle deserved to win this game. But it was excellent to see the use of the squad. All the players really put it in and show how much they wanted to win that competition. And yeah, listen, some people have mugged it off, called it Mickey Mouse Cup and all of that. I think it's a really arrogant viewpoint. I don't agree with it. Never shared it. I've voiced my opinion on it before. It's the first domestic trophy you can win in the season. It gets you to Europe as well. It gives you silverware. Newcastle United won their first trophy, which was this trophy, in 70 years. Now, I would not turn my nose up at winning this trophy again. I don't think anybody would do whatsoever. If we were to win this trophy again and guarantee European football and another bit of silverware, wherever we finish in the league, we want to finish the Champions League because that's where you need to be to create the revenue, to bring the players in, to get the success and all that other stuff. But if Newcastle win the Carabao Cup again this season and get into Europe again, that's a massively successful season once again, and another massive pat on the back for Eddie Howe, who's won 2 trophies back to back, you know, for Newcastle United. That's an incredible result as a manager. So I'm not turning my nose up at that at all. We've got Fulham at home in the next round. That's a brilliant draw. One of the best draws we could have got with all the teams that left. City are left, Arsenal are left, Chelsea are left, you know, Palace are left, who are a really good side, you know, and they're very capable of beating anybody. Look what they did at Liverpool. Sorry, I couldn't resist that, Liverpool. I genuinely dislike Liverpool after this summer. I've said that. I never used to, but I genuinely dislike Liverpool, and I want them to win fuck all this season. And I'm not even scared of saying that. I don't give a fuck. East Scousers can come in the comments and say what they want. The way they behave this summer, I'll be glad if they win 0. I really, really would. But we missed a lot of big teams in them draws, and that's a great draw for Newcastle. With that, we're in the semi-final, and then we're 1 game away from Wembley, and then 1 game away from winning back-to-back trophies. That's incredible for Newcastle. But it's a big week again. We've got West Ham down at the London Stadium on Sunday. They're not good. They're really poor at the minute, but we have to rock up and play the way we're playing over the last 3 games, get the win. And then we've got Bilbao back at St James's Park in the Champions League. Continue the good form there. Things are looking up. People are playing well. Players are going to come back as well. We've got Wissa to come back. We've got Tino to come back. We've got Howe to come back. You know, Ramsey looks like he's getting fit. Ramsdale's coming and done well. Cher's back in the picture. Botman will be back in the side. It's all looking good for Newcastle right now, and long may it continue. But let us know in the comments below what you thought about the game, about those performances. Do you agree with me? Is Sandro Tonali just absolutely fucking unreal as a midfielder? Is he the best midfielder you've seen play for Newcastle? Let me know in the comments below. He's definitely got to be up there at the minute, I think, because wow, what a footballer he is, and he's just getting better and better every single game. But always like to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Keep it ever more. Help get us to the 12,000 subscriber mark. I'll be back with the preview for the West Ham game, and I'll be back live behind the mic after we hopefully batter the Hammers down at London. Have a belter. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.